Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well, doing great, all of that lovely stuff. Hey guys, as you can see, is all joining up. How you doing? Hope you're all doing well. Don't forget to like the stream and stuff before we get started. But GJ has done a complete madness. Now this is not normal at all. The only reason I can find for this is that the IMF are basically predicting Japan's growth to be 0.3% rather than 0.4%, which was the expected. And that's the only thing I can find which would actually increase, which would make price increase. And that's what's been going on the past few hours, since yesterday really, which has been going up. Makes no sense at all. You've seen the fundamentals, you've seen the fair value gap on the monthly, you've seen all this stuff. There's nothing to suggest really that we were going to be going up that much and that quickly. I don't think anyone anticipated it to be this quick. Like, if anyone was being bullish, I don't think anyone expected it to go up this quickly. But obviously, we're going to start off on the fundamentals as we always do. Then we're going to make our way around to the technicals, make our way through a few pairs. I've cleaned up my charts, cleaned up my list. So now I'm only looking at 3 pairs. If you want me to look at any Forex pairs specifically, just let us know and I will do that when I can. But yeah, make sure you're liking up the stream, guys. It does really help me out. What I'm going to stop doing is I'm going to stop announcing this as much. I'm going to stop announcing the live streams, okay? I might do it like once every few days, but I'm not going to be announcing my live streams as much anymore. That is just simply because I don't want the Discord to be all spammy and too many notifications in a day and all that kind of stuff, because at the moment there's 2 notifications a day at least, and I don't want it to be too spammy for people. Don't want it to be too overwhelming for the new people as they join. So we're going to be dying down on the amount of announcements that I do on the live stream. So if you want to watch me live every single day, if you want to catch these streams, all you need to do is keep in your diaries 2:30 p.m. BST, which is New York Open. That's when I'm live every day. Click the bell, subscribe if you haven't clicked the bell. Make sure you click the bell and it'll tell you exactly when I'm live, so I don't have to notify you with the announcements. And yeah, other than that, that's all I've got to say, to be honest. Yeah, there's obviously a few big updates coming soon to the Discord, to the way I do things and all that lovely stuff, which we'll cross when we get to. But what I want to focus on today is the price action of GBP JPY. Now, this is not really normal. We haven't been moving, well, ranging, I guess you could call it, in a while. We've just kind of been consolidating for quite a bit. But the fundamentals, okay? So what are the fundamentals and why do we care about them? So the fundamentals for today, what's going on? 2:45, we got 3 pieces of red folder Canadian news. We got Bank of Canada monetary policy report, a rate statement, and an overnight rate as well. We've got at 3:30 a Bank of Canada press conference, and 7:45 we've got Bank of England, another Gov Bailey speech similar to yesterday. So obviously, if you want to track that, you know where to go, Financial Juice, and they'll give you the updates. Same with all these other little speeches. If you want to track them, you can. But yeah, that's what's going on today. That's all the fundamentals for today. And now if we go on to GJ, you can see it's an absolute mess. What I'm going to be doing as well soon, just talking about these updates, is going to be obviously stopping the notifications, the announcements for these live streams, so make sure you're hitting the bell. But also the other thing is I'm going to figure out a trade copier. I'm going to try and sort out a trade copier that allows me to trade on TradingView. And that way you can see all of my entries. You can see every single entry I take, every single exit I take. It'll be like, I'll maybe have like a small personal account which copies, like, which all my funded accounts copy the trades on. I'm thinking of doing that. We're going to sort it out either way. We're going to figure out a way so you can then see all of my entries. You'll see the precision of the entries, the trades I take, the trades I don't take, you'll see. And that will also allow me to basically, when I share my charts with you, you'll also see my entry and exits, whether or not I've entered and exited. Hi, Donish, how you doing? But yeah, I think that might work a little bit better. And then we can pivot, we can pivot away from actually me showing you how much I make, because I don't really like that. As a mentor, it puts pressure on me, a lot of pressure to make as much money as possible, because obviously people are attracted to big figures of trades regardless of the pip size, regardless of the percentages. So what I've been thinking about, as I've just said, is basically getting a small personal account, or opening another personal account, and then basically copying trades from that onto all my other accounts at once. I'm going to figure out a way to do that. If I can do that, that'd be great. I'll look into that. I've been looking into that. And that way, as I've just said, you will be able to see the exact trades I take and when I take them. Good morning. How you doing? Hello, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm not really making, if you've come from the Discord, I'm not really making announcements on the Discord server as much anymore. So make sure you turn on the bell for these live streams. It'd be like 2 or 3 notifications for the live streams per week. Maybe not even 3, like 2. So make sure you've clicked the bell. Make sure you put it in your diaries. Even if you don't want to subscribe, you click put it in your diaries so you know when I'm live. That's update number 1. Update number 2 is like basically pivoting away from showing you how much I'm making, because I don't really like doing that. It kind of puts like more of a flashy financial spin on it, especially as I'm working on compounding all of these accounts now. It's going to start taking off, and also, I don't really want to be that flashy guy, if you couldn't tell already. But yeah, so keep an eye out for those updates. I'll be making formal announcements when I do change them. I just wanted to get that out the way for everyone who joins these streams, those 2 important things that are coming soon, so that we can then obviously get onto the charts now and everyone knows what I'm doing in the future. So on the charts, as I've said, GJ has done an absolute massive bull run. Okay, that was a bit autistic, but bull run. Basically, you can see that the bottom of the daily doesn't have a wick. There's no bottom wick really. Now, if you zoom in really, if you make it like this, you can see a very small wick, but that does not count. We do not have basically a bottom range, so I'd be looking to come down and make that at some point. Think of it like this. It's like a magnet. I don't know if there's tools or something here. Here we are. It's like a magnet for price. That's what this is. It's like a magnet. Price should flip. But if you look at the range, like we can just see, you can just look at the percentage increase. But, we've got like a 200 pip range, 1.31% from the other day. Good afternoon, Dan. How you doing? You can see that, we've got a massive increase here. From yesterday, massive move up, no bottom wick. So if we come down and make this bottom wick, the move back down will be huge, and that means that GJ has moved like a total of 400 pips in one session, which is not really the ideal amount. Devil's mark, exactly. That's what some people call it. I found out that name after I started using it. I just called it the wick trick. Like, I literally just noticed that, and then obviously people started calling it the devil's mark. I don't know where that's come from, but that's what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to come down and make that bottom wick. If we close like this, though, it's kind of bullish. It's still quite bearish, to be honest with you, because we've got to come down and fill this at some point. We've got to make a bottom range. So I'm expecting price to flip, but the fact that we've moved up like 200 pips then kind of like makes it a bit unrealistic. Like, do we really expect price to come back down another 200 pips, even further than 200 pips? Because that's the move from the open. Would have to go past the open, so we'll have to have moved at least 400 pips this entire session, which is mental. Like, that's stupid. But as I said, like, this move up is completely unexpected. That's took me out of my swing trade, and I'm retiring the swing trades for a while. I was trying to move on to swing trading. I think if you've seen my journey, like from a few months ago, I was talking about how people who do this kind of thing, they move to swing trading because it becomes a lot less stressful as they get better and better at trading. That's what I was trying to do. I'm retiring that for now, to be honest with you. Since I've tried to do that, I've took 2 swing trades. One's been break even. One was a 0.25% loss. So we're just going to be chilling on that now, focusing back on the 50 in the 1 hour, what I'm good at. But yeah, so, we would expect price to move down from here, maybe come back down to the bottom of this range. But the good thing is we've got a nice accumulation and a manipulation phase now. If we just draw this out on the daily, just focusing simply on the daily, you can see we've got a nice accumulation, manipulation. This is a 1 hour fair value gap, but we do have a daily one right above it, as you can see. If we just draw that out, that we would expect price to come up to. Now that it's pushing up like this, you would expect it to come up to here before continuing down, and that would make perfect sense. Maybe we come up to here, maybe we consolidate for 1 day, and then we get a nice move to the bottom of this range on the daily. I'm still bearish on GJ. My point still stands. I still have the same idea. This move is just completely unexpected. And it's not the fact that, I wasn't expecting price to continue up a little bit. It's more the fact that it happened through Asian session. If we go onto the 4 hour time frame, I don't think there's anyone on this planet that thought, yeah, we're heading into Asian session. What the fuck is wrong with my speech there? We're going into Asian session now, so we're going to move 200 pips. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anyone on the planet who thought that, unless it was just simply the Bank of Japan manipulating it, then they were thinking about doing that. But, this range, I don't think anyone expected price to do this through Asian session. Completely unorthodox, completely unsustainable, which is why we are waiting for this flip. We've got a few 4 hour candles here with no bottom wick, so it doesn't really seem like price wants to come down and make a daily bottom wick. But we are still looking for sells. We're still bearish. It still makes sense to take these sell positions. Now, on the 1 hour, there's not really much. We're going to be focusing on the 15 more, as I said now. From now on, going back onto the 15, we've kind of just get rid of this. And get rid of this, and get rid of this as well. You can see we're kind of just we pushed up out off of this, and you would expect price to maybe push straight up to this here, then consolidate a candlestick pattern, then move to the downside, coming back to the bottom of this range, filling in this imbalance over here. But what price has done is it's just kind of pushed up and consolidated. It pushed up through the volume time of London. We started consolidating throughout it. If we go over to the start of this, you can see it's 7 o'clock. We started 6 o'clock, started properly consolidating through 7 o'clock, all the way through to 9 o'clock. So just towards the end of the volume time, which is 1 hour before to 2 hours after the market opens. 1 hour before to 2 hours after, we started, move up. Then we just started consolidating again. So you would expect, naturally, because this was such a quick burst up, you would expect price to just, quickly come into this fair value gap, then quickly come back down to this area over here, and that would be the AMD trade. That would be what we would have seen if price was behaving normally, but it's not, and I don't know really why. I'm trying to find out. The IMF basically said that Japan isn't going to grow as much as they thought it was, which would actually make this go up, believe it or not, because then it's more okay, it's actually bad for the yen. So the yen's going down, the GBP JPY would be going up the same way the DXY goes down, the AUD pairs, the GBP pair, the EU pair, that would go up if DXY was to go down, and and the yen was going down, so we'd expect it to do the same thing. But yeah, that's the only thing I can see for the IMF. It's literally just them saying it's not grown as much. I think I can find the... it might be here somewhere. There we are. It was this that I seen. If you're interested in that, let me know. Send you the link, or just go on Forex Factory and look for it yourself. But that's the only thing I can find which would suggest price would move up so quickly throughout Asian session. Why would it happen through Asian session? Do you know what I mean? But more recently, we've continued up again through the VT. Then we started consolidating again. Now, what a manipulation would be is a very quick burst followed by a very quick move down, and that would be the distribution. So a few people may have got trapped in this, but that's why I wait for a fair value gap as well. That's why I have all these little bits of confluences, because, you know, through months, years of backtesting this strategy, I found what works best. It is waiting for the fair value gap and the candlestick pattern, not one of those things, like not just one. Not just waiting for the candlestick pattern, then taking a sell. Not just waiting for a fair value gap, then taking a sell. You have to wait for both of those things. And sometimes you'll miss a move, but most of the time you won't get stuck in moves like this, or moves where it just does this and distributes to the upside. So, you know, if you followed your plan today, if you followed my plan today, like I did, you would not have got caught in anything stupid. We did take a 0.5% or 0.25% loss this morning, based on the swing trade, as I've just said. But what we're looking at now is a distribution, and it's a distribution because we've slowed down. A manipulation, as I've just said, is like a very quick move up followed by a very quick move down. That's manipulation, because we manipulate up and then distribute down. But we've just manipulated up here and then started consolidating, which means we actually need to generate more liquidity, which means that this is simply just AD with an accumulation. By definition, that's exactly what it is. But now that we're up here, it does kind of look a little bit better, because also a lot of people probably would have seen price coming in to tap this 1 hour and then being like, okay, now we've just got to wait for the candlestick pattern, seeing price pushing down around about here, then maybe got stuck in a sell position. Whereas, obviously, I wait for both of those things. But with this accumulation specifically, you can wait for price basically to chill around here, then manipulate up into this fair value gap, which hasn't been respected yet. The only issue with this fair value gap is it's not as likely to be respected as other fair value gaps, and that is because it was formed a long time ago. It was formed like 4 months ago. Could you kindly check Swiss franc JPY for me? Yeah, I will. Give me a minute. But yeah, we've got an accumulation here. We've got a manipulation, hopefully to the upside, which is what I was looking for yesterday. Then we take a sell position. Now, the reason we might not respect this fair value gap as much is simply just because, the fair value gap was made a while ago. I think we might have actually tapped into it a bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the fair value gap so I can show you it. We haven't come back and respected it, and it was also part of one AMD cycle. As you can see, we got a nice accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but, you know, we've got a fair value gap here which hasn't been like filled. We've got an imbalance that hasn't been filled. I guess you could pair it with a BPR as well, like the top of this bit, like where these overlap. But it was made when? The 30th of July, which is like almost 4 months ago, I think. So, you know, it's not really the newest fair value gap. It's not really the best place to look for price to reverse, but it does follow the plan. It does follow the plan. So if we come up here, you know, if we start pushing up again, we form this nice pattern, and then we manipulate down, distribute down. That would be nice. And the reason this might work as well is because the way AMD works, it is literally cycles. And what's happened is through Asian, we've basically grown, we've expanded, we've distributed to the upside, which means that we're then going to accumulate through London or New York, and we've accumulated through both of those things. We accumulated through the open of London, then accumulated through the pre-New York, and obviously now the New York Open as well, which means we would expect price to move again through Asian session the exact same way it just has. So if we get this, we could end up taking it, but we'll see what happens. If we get it in the next like couple hours, I might end up taking it. I probably will end up taking it. If we don't get it in the next couple hours, I probably won't take it. But we'll see what happens. That's what I'm hoping for next. And that would make perfect sense because we've gone up so much, we would expect price to start retracing. Like, look at this. This is not sustainable at all. We've got a retracement due soon. Like, it just has to happen. So what we can do is, instead of just selling, like waiting for this retracement, we can wait for the perfect entry to align with it, which would be an accumulation manipulation to the upside, then a distribution to the downside after forming a candlestick pattern inside of this fair value gap. You know the story. And yeah, that's, you know, what that is. Bitcoin's looking good though. Bitcoin is looking very, very nice. We may end up even taking this. I might actually take this. To be honest with you, we could take this like in 10 minutes. I'm going to walk you through this so very quickly. So we have an accumulation here. You can see the drawing. This is exactly what I wanted to see this time yesterday. Was an accumulation, then a manipulation into this fair value gap, followed by a candlestick pattern, which it looks like we've got now when this closes. The only thing standing in our way is this bearish fair value gap. So if we close outside the fair value gap in the next 9 minutes, I will take this trade. And if we do that, we will target the other side of the accumulation range. Or maybe ultimately we'll target around about here and see what goes on over there. But for this to be a valid entry, guys, for us to take this trade, all we need to see is price closing outside this accumulation range. I mean, outside this fair value gap range. And this kind of does look like an accumulation manipulation as well. So you've got to be careful of that, but it does look like the higher time frames will overpower this. We've took 4-hour liquidity here. You can see we took a bit of external liquidity, which means we are due a bullish retracement. So it would make perfect sense. We've got the context, we've got the fair value gap, we've got the candlestick pattern, we've got everything, and it's all higher time frame stuff as well. There's nothing higher time frame contradicting this trade. So if this closes in the next, like 8 minutes outside this bearish fair value gap, we will take this trade. If it doesn't, it's too risky and we're just going to leave it. The way I'm going to do this is have my stop loss just around here, just below this, and my take profit will be up here. I'm going to risk 0.5% on this one, 1.4R, so we should make 1% or something, just under. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for there. We'll give it 7 minutes and see what happens. As I said as well, as we wait for this, you know, I'm going to stop with the posting of my results like that. Like, I'm not going to be posting, oh yes, look, I made $2,000. Oh yes, look, I made $1.5 grand. It would just be my entry. So I think if you've ever traded on TradingView, you'll see like an arrow. Like if we were to take a buy position, there'll be an arrow here. And let's say we get out when price is here and it does this. It'll be like an arrow on this candle right here as well. And I can share that then. And then that kind of like, you know, validates a lot of stuff. Without me having to show you what I'm making, because then it kind of puts pressure on me to make more money and more money. But yeah, I've explained that before. And also, guys, I'm going to stop with the announcements as much for the Discord. I've said this twice now, I think 3 times. I'm going to stop the announcements for my live streams. So I'm not going to be going, I'm live now, live in 2 hours, live now. I'm just going to be doing the live streams, and like that's it. So click the bell, you know, all that stuff, so you do get notified whenever I'm live, or save in your diaries 2:30 p.m. BST, as that is when I'm live every single day. Now we're going to look at, there's not really any point looking at gold, but, you know, we've got that AMD cycle. The only reason I didn't take this trade was because we didn't have a fair value gap to manipulate up into. That's why we kind of messed around here. We didn't have much going on. Looks like we are coming back to the bottom of the accumulation range though in the distribution, but we'll leave that alone. GJ, messy, looking for that manipulation to the upside and then a distribution to the downside. Bitcoin is basically the opposite. Just waiting for this candle close now, then we can see what happens. If we want to get a perfect entry, what we could do is we could wait for the close and then come back to a fair value gap and then boom. But I'm going to take the entry if we close outside this accumulation range. I mean, not accumulation range, sorry, fair value gap. Okay, so that's what's going on there. We're going to have a look at Swiss franc, JPY now. Let's have a quick look. Jeez. Very, very unsustainable here. But, you know, you should be able to see that very clearly. Nice accumulation right here. So simple, guys. Coming into this fair value gap, it looks like we're inverting the fair value gap. So this might be basically AD. We'll see how it goes. But on the daily, looks like we are trying to invert that fair value gap. But we've had such a crazy move up on all the JPY pairs, which tells me it is the JPY. But we are due a move back down at some point. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold. So that's the high time frame. The lower time frame is just an absolute mess. What I'd do, just to play it safe, wait for that next accumulation, wait for the next cycle. When we start accumulating, wait for a manipulation in either direction, and then take a distribution trade. Simple as that. Right, 4 minutes on Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on here, guys. Come on. Like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. It does really help me out. The YouTube business. Click the bell if you haven't. I'm live every day at 2:30 p.m. BST, which means we are trading the New York session. So if you want to trade the New York session with me, keep in your diaries 2:30 p.m. BST. Alright, it doesn't look like we're trying to invert it, to be honest with you. We are due a bullish retracement though. Got a double bottom there. Near enough. Come on, Bitcoin. Just push out a little bit more. Bitcoin. Right. Not looking the best, to be honest with you. Let's see how this goes. Potentially, finally, got a trade live. The way my strategy works, we don't really just open the charts and look for trades. We got to wait for the perfect moment. And it's never really ever the perfect moment around 2:30. Looks like it might be now. Give it 2 minutes. Come on, Bitcoin. Close outside the fair value gap, and we will take the trade. And the cool thing is as well, I'll leave this up. So if we do end up basically not closing outside this range, I'll leave this up and we can see how it plays out. You can see if it would have been a win. You can see if it would have been a loss. Come on, Bitcoin. Looks like it. There we are. 1 minute left. 1 minute's open with no top wick. Come on, boy. $20 seconds. 10 seconds. on the line. Well, if you want to take that, you can. It might still play out. I'm not taking it though. If the next candle closes outside, the second we invert this, we will. But, what we'd want to see on this candle is this close like this. We'd want to see a smaller close, like a very small close on Bitcoin. Because if we close all the way up here, not good. If we close down here, it's not even good. So we want to kind of get a close around about this range, like a 0.3% move in the next hour. If we want to take this trade, we'd have to wait for price to invert this fair value gap, and then we can trade it nicely. Plus, it will then also create a fair value gap, which we could even wait for price to come back to enter the trade off of. We'll have to see what happens. But for now, we're not in this trade because price has not closed outside of the accumulation range. Outside of the fair value gap. I don't know why I keep getting confused. Hello. Yes, Rodrigo, I can. Give me 1 sec. Pretty accumulation distribution for me. There's a lot of that. You would look for price to start coming up here now. It looks all right. We'll see if there's a fair value gap in a minute, but we took all this liquidity. We've had a very bearish move to the downside. Very bearish. Obviously, it's to the downside because it's bearish, for fuck's sake, but, very strong. Took this liquidity. We would expect price to have a bullish retracement, but we're going to see if there's any fair value gaps that we've come into now, start respecting. But the last time we were here was September the 11th. Great time for no particular reason. Any fair value gaps? Not really. There's this one from all the way in August, which we have respected already. So you wouldn't really anticipate price to react to it strongly. But it is a support and resistance level, and we've broke through it. So we've inverted it, which isn't a good sign at all. It's also formed a BPR there. Although, if we do take out this liquidity, there is a fair value gap that hasn't been respected yet, or an imbalance that hasn't been filled. Right about here. We zoom in on that. You can see it there. So maybe if we come down to that, you could start looking for a reversal back up to the top on the 1 hour. You never know. We'll have to see. It's a bit risky. Not really the best setup, so I would advise staying away. But if you have your plan written out and it meets your plan, if it meets your criteria, take it, because then you can collect more data for your plan. That's the goal. That's how you become profitable. So if your plan says blah, 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 take the trade. If it fits your plan, take the trade. If it doesn't fit your plan, don't take it. And if you want my advice, I'm not going to take it either. But yeah, it's a pretty messy day today, guys. I don't think anyone expected Asian session to provide so much of a move on pretty much all of these pairs. It's unfortunate we couldn't take this, but what's cool is we can have. I'm gonna leave this open, and we're gonna see if I would have been able to take the trade or not. We're gonna see how it would have played out. We're gonna see if we avoid a loss or we avoided a win and made a big mistake, and we can write that down for next time. But there's a lot to say. We are due a move up. We got this fair value gap here on the 1 hour, I believe. We got external liquidity being taken. We've got a 1 hour candlestick pattern on the same time frame. We've identified a very clean accumulation on. We've clearly took all of this liquidity. We've took this liquidity over here as well. So you would expect price to have at least some form of bullish retracement. I see a fair value gap daily on AUD USD. Nice spot. A nice spot indeed. I did not see that there. Nice spot, Rodrigo. So yeah, what you'd look for is, depending on what time you've identified this on, you'd look for a candlestick pattern on that time frame. But it's pretty much the same situation as Bitcoin, as I can see right now. We've almost got the candlestick pattern. You'd obviously wait for a more bullish move up, maybe inverting this fair value gap. If we invert this fair value gap, then maybe take your entry around about here. Good spot. I did not see that fair value gap there. But your take profit would be up here, entry somewhere down here, stop loss would be there. You'd enter around about here, look for a nice 1.5 R trade potentially. But yeah, let's see what GJ is saying now. GJ has flipped to the bottom of this range. I think, it's pretty unsustainable to take a buy position today on GJ. Like, you don't stop a moving train, I know, but, it's kind of like we've moved up so much. We are due a retracement. So if we manipulate down, I'm not going to take that. Bitcoin, annoying we couldn't take the trade. Gold, just staying away from gold. Headache. That's for videos. Swiss franc, JPY. Wait for that consolidation. AUD USD. Rodrigo, just wait for that candlestick pattern to form. Also avoiding this fair value gap. So we'd want to invert this, form a candlestick pattern, then you can take a buy. Literally the same position as Bitcoin. Took the external liquidity, come into a high time frame fair value gap, made the candlestick pattern. Just need to invert this fair value gap that we formed from a massive push down this morning. Doesn't look like it would have been going well if we took it so far. Could flip though, obviously. Thanks, bro. All good, Rodrigo, man. Anytime. Hello, Sasakumar. Correct me if that pronunciation's off. So, yeah. Bitcoin, waiting for that manipulation. It looks like we are pushing out to the bottom, though. Doesn't really look the best. Is there no real fair value gap here as well? Maybe if we check the 4 hour. There's a 4 hour one. Suppose that would look nice. That could be a clean move. So we'd obviously go for that one if we're going to trade it, because that's the most recent one. Also go to a higher time frame. Doesn't seem to be anything. So yeah, make sure you're liking up the stream, guys. As I've said, I'm going to be pivoting away from showing you my results, showing you how much I make per trade, towards showing you my exact entries and exits on TradingView. That will provide a lot more, whatever, I don't know. Plus, it will take the pressure off me to try and make the most amount of money as possible. Because, believe it or not, there is a slight difference. I can tell you right now, there's a slight difference from being a profitable trader alone to being a profitable trader in front of a few hundred people. So, is what it is. But we're pivoting away from that. I'm also going to be stopping the announcements on Discord as much. I'm not going to be saying I'm live now, live now, live now, live now, live now. I'll probably make an announcement maybe halfway through the week. But if you want to catch my live streams every single day, if you want to watch all my streams, glad I got your name correct. If you want to watch all my streams, click the bell and you will get notified every single time. Or save down in your diary, add an alert on your phone, whatever it is. 2:30 p.m. BST every single day. New York session, New York open. So you're going to have to come and manually search for me, manually go on my channel to get my live streams, rather than me just telling you when I'm live, because I do not want to make the Discord a spammy server where I'm, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. I want to kind of, respect your guys' attention, rather than trying to fucking steal it all the time, like some Discord servers I see. So, yeah, that's what's going on. 2 important updates. GBP JPY, again, just wait for that accumulation. We got that accumulation, sorry. Wait for that manipulation. If we manipulate down, you could look at taking a position depending on how good the setup looks. Preferably look for a sell. Bitcoin looks like it's melting. The right idea. If we closed outside this range, this could have been completely different. But yeah, Bitcoin, unfortunate that we avoided that trade. Well, it's good now, but unfortunately we couldn't take that trade live. This is for videos. Swiss franc, what the score is on that, and Rodrigo knows what to do for AUD USD. So we just got to wait for GJ to see what it's chatting. We got to wait for the next 1 hour close on Bitcoin, and then we can look at taking some form of position depending on what's going on. But that's everything I got to say. All good, guys. I'm happy I can help you. But yeah, that's me done for the day. I have nothing else to share now. We've gone through the analysis. GJ, I was wrong, to be fair. I know when to admit I'm wrong. I'm a man. I was wrong with my market outlook yesterday, which is the first time I've been wrong since I've started doing them. If you want to catch the market outlooks, it's on my YouTube. I'm also going to be slowing down on the notifications for those because I don't want to make the Discord server a spammy little marketplace. So, is what it is. But if you want to catch me live, if you want to catch the market outlooks every single day, click the bell, click subscribe, hit the like button. Hit the like button, guys. But I've got nothing else to share. That's me done for the day. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys at the same time tomorrow. The market outlook will be out later, and also for the premium group, the trade recaps will be out very soon. I might just do it at the end of the week and just do all my trades in one video. Might make a bit more sense. We'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, hit the like button. I'm live every day, 2:30 p.m. BST. I've got nothing else to share now, guys, so I am going to head out.